One. All right, cool. So we're live right now with the LonelyFans podcast, folks. We got Albie, a fun guy, and myself, Carson Daly. Today we're going to be talking Black Widow spoilers, and we'll also be unboxing a couple Black Widow figures. So I think first off the bat, we're going to kick it off with what did we think of Black Widow? Who wants to kick us off?
Oh, I'll start. I liked it very much. There were a fair amount of cons, but I feel like the pros were like really outshined the cons, in my opinion, which we'll talk about later. But yeah.
So sound bites. All right, what you got? What you got, Broj?
It was entertaining. I'll span later.
Yeah, mine's is it's what I expected from this film. Not to say it's bad, just it's what I expected.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
So, having said that, I think I'm going to kick it off real quick and just say, like, I'm going to open this first. My first thing I thought about with the movie, to me, it stuck out was Florence Pugh. I thought she stole the show for me.
Yep, I won't argue with that. I mean, it was a great cast overall. Like, I mean, Scarlett Johansson brought like Black Widow like more depth than she was able to before. But I thought David Harbour was funny, but also compelling too. I mean, it's interesting to have a Russian version of Captain America, but a lot more like neglected. And then Rachel Weisz, Rachel Weisz is good at everything she does, but I like her as not only as like the maternal, like, the someone who had the maternal instincts, but also, she was like kind of like the brains behind like pretty much most of the operation. So that was like really cool. And also and I think they all also had really good chemistry. Like anytime they were together, like whether it's just two of them or like all four of them, they had like really good chemistry. So it was stuff like that like outshined some of the cons of the film.
What did you think of the long-awaited return of William Hurt as General Ross?
I thought it just made sense. Yeah, it's General Ross doing the chase.
Should have had a more prominent role, in my opinion.
I won't disagree with that. I thought we would see him more, but like it was just practically that scene. So
yeah, I like David Harbour's portrayal. I'll be honest with you, the only other thing I've seen of him, because I've never seen Stranger Things. I saw him in Hellboy, and that thing was garbage. So
it's not even his fault, man. Like I wouldn't have signed up for it. I'd have been like, hey, I'm not going to do it because I want my buddy Ron Perlman to do part 4. And where's Guillermo del Toro? Peace. Mm-hmm. Seriously, I would have turned that down. Like, nah, Ron deserves a 4. Let's go. There's no reason to reinvent this series.
Sure.
Golden Army was the shit.
Yeah, it was. Did you because I'm unboxing the Black Widow figure right now. Did you catch that Easter egg when she said you were the Crimson Dynamo?
Yeah.
When yes. That was pretty funny.
I was like,
oh, that's a throwback.
Yeah.
That's also what Mickey Rourke technically was supposed to be in Iron Man 2. Like they, it was Whiplash, but some comic book nerds who know a lot more than me pointed out that sounds more like the Crimson Dynamo story.
They cut out a lot of his story.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought that was interesting that they mentioned that in Black Widow.
Yeah.
Okay, you're making a subtle reference to her Black Widow's first appearance, pretty much.
Yeah. Did you kind of think that the storyline with the way that the widows get possessed kind of reminded you a little bit from Falcon and Winter Soldier with the what was it, the serum they were taking? I don't know. It kind of it's probably a stretch, but it was a little callback to me to the Winter Soldier, Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, technically was Black Widow supposed to come first and then Falcon and Winter Soldier? So I wonder.
I thought Falcon and Winter Soldier before WandaVision, Black Widow before Falcon and Winter. I thought. I could be very wrong.
Yeah. But, so I guess it's interesting that maybe there's sort of like a, what's the word? Like when the writers are trying to write it, there's like a, keywords to like turn to when making a script that takes place not necessarily MCU, but takes place in the grounded version of MCU. So Falcon and Winter Soldier, Captain America, Winter Soldier, and Black Widow.
How about the callback? Sorry if I'm like jumping around here on the movie. But how about the callback to Winter Soldier when he like removed the face and it wasn't Melina? And I was like, oh, that was from Winter Soldier, because remember she disguised herself as one of the people above S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm trying to remember what they were.
Yeah, the council. Yeah.
The council, yeah. Like
disguised herself as one of the high security councils. But yeah, no,
I'm happy that happened, because that was going to make me hate Melina so bad. I'm like, wow, you screwed them over.
True.
It was a good flip.
And that kind of comes back to what made this great. It was that core, like, they weren't a official family, but they were,
Hey, man.
They cared for each other so much, even though they weren't related. They cared for each other. They were actually like a family. And I like how, like, we talk how Florence Pugh like stole the show, and not just because she had the wittiest remarks, and her action scenes was like leveled with Black Widow, but also when she was like, she felt really sad when Black Widow was trying to say it didn't matter, and she goes like, it mattered to me, it was real to me. I kind of like pausing, like, damn, that actually hits pretty.
Yeah, I'm glad you caught that, because that thing hit me when they're eating dinner or they're trying to eat dinner, and you can see the emotion in her face. I'm like, oh man, it's
good acting though. Definitely good acting.
You think exactly. You think back to when she was the little girl in that opening scene. It was like super similar. Which actually brings me to another pro. I thought that was one of the greatest openings in an MCU movie.
Period.
Like, first you get the family, they're together, and you kind of feel like whether it already looked like the Americans on FX, so I already knew that. I always compare, that's going to happen, but still, Rachel Weisz's character was very effective as the mother, and they weren't blood related sisters, but they were next to her just like sisters. And then when they had to do the escape, and then they played American Pie, as they were
the song.
all of what was Americana. But that airfield scene I thought was like pretty damn intense.
Man, so to cut you guys off, that was my favorite part of the movie. So it Smells Like Teen Spirit cover. Whoever sang that, whatever group, if not the best cover of that song, one of the best, and it's going viral. I'm calling it, right? That was my favorite part of the film. I said, whoever directed or wrote this opening scene, I care about all of it. From the time they ran the backyard all the way to the lift off of the plane, solid gold movie stuff. Albert can translate, cinematography, emotion captured, feel of the 90s, action was there. It was still movie, pipe bombs under the cars, but it worked.
You kind of see where, Black Widow, we all know she was trained heavily at some sort of facility, but it was there that you also see how she probably experienced danger and
immediately
fly an aircraft that she, in future she's going to be flying a lot of aircraft she has no experience with, but she learns to adapt. So
fast, too.
So really, if anything, I felt definitely not only one of the best openings I've seen in an MCU. For a second, it almost didn't feel like an MCU movie. I was like, ooh, it was shot more like an indie movie. I felt like.
I thought it was just me. I said, this doesn't feel like MCU. This is great.
They're going something different here. So, and I would almost say that 80% of that movie was like that, and we'll talk more about the cons later. I say the cons later more started in the third act, the
opportunities.
You're right.
You build it up first, and then you just crap on it afterwards.
Oh,
I
she
wouldn't
did
even
great.
say like,
She
yeah,
did.
she did great. In fact, she also did so good. There was that one scene at the end where she's like, putting like the javelins in the helicopter, going like, this was really fun.
Boom.
She was so good that I almost forgot how bad the effects were around her. Like it was
Yes,
like
she.
an odd, yeah.
It was
But,
the air scene. I'm with you. The air scene special effects during the controlled crash or the actual crash of the thing weren't. Disney's done better, but I guess the physical action was good.
Yeah.
The free falling, that was free falling scenes with people with no or minimal powers. Always been a fan of.
Yeah.
So that was good, but around them, not really.
Wait, you mean like the effects when the ship's falling down? You said the effects are kind of
before Tasky falls.
Yeah.
After she javelin boom, she falls, grabs the air pack. The debris around them, not really that well done. I didn't care, but I was like, oh, they did the best they could, or they didn't. I don't know, but it did them better. Like Universal's graphics for the debris. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think it's done better. They did better on Winter Soldier.
Go ahead. To go back to the beginning, you're talking about the opening sequence. I forgot about that. Like the first thing I noticed was when Red Guardian just like throws the thing over. I'm like, oh crap!
I got powers.
He's got the serum too. I'm like, whoa.
It's a super soldier.
He is. Russia's super soldier.
All right.
I do wish, jumping around, I kind of wish they would have shown him at his peak when he was the Red Guardian.
Yeah.
Instead of this is how I was beloved, I was so and so. It's like I kind of wish we would have seen that.
Sure. Honestly, I also kind of wish we had. I wish we had maybe more scenes of that whole family unit together.
Yeah, I want to see how they interacted.
Like maybe they had to hang out at
the shawarma.
What?
Shawarma.
Sure. Not just shawarma, but hang out at Elena's house a bit longer. Like maybe they have to stay a couple of days, and then that also lets them compile maybe a more elaborate plan to take down. So
more acting would have been done too.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it was crazy rushed. It's not the most rushed thing I've seen, but I would have preferred maybe take a little bit more time.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie though, when because there was to go to Taskmaster, there was always this thing of oh, I bet you it's this person, it's this person. Yeah. As soon as they showcased Dracov, right? As soon as they said oh, Dracov's daughter died, I'm like, I bet you that's his daughter.
I said the same. I didn't want to cut you. That's why I went like this. So I knew it was a woman during the trailers. I'm like, Taskmaster's not a guy; it's a woman. They're not showing the face. The stunt double may be a dude. One of my good friends pointed that out. He's like, we're really friends. He's like, hey, the shoulders are bulky. Spoke to him today, actually. And that was a guy during some of those stunt scenes. I said, yeah, but I knew. I said, okay, I'm wrong. You're right. But I knew it was going to be a woman in the film. It looked like a woman in some of the trailer. I said, I know it's going to be a woman. And then when they talked about the daughter, I said, oh, it's his daughter. That's the twist. It's his daughter.
I mean, honestly, did you guys see that from a mile away?
Yes. It wasn't a secret.
I didn't. I probably didn't think about it.
Oh, BS. Really?
No,
I was like, Disney's movie. She didn't kill a child in a Disney film. I guarantee she's alive.
Yeah, I should have thought about that from that perspective.
It's a Disney film.
She got
so then for Albie, then was the storyline that good for you that you didn't even consider it or you forgot about it?
I thought it was. I thought that twist was decent enough. Maybe I kind of wish. Maybe I'll have to watch it again. Maybe if they hinted it a bit more, then I would. But like I said, maybe it got too quick to the third act that I probably didn't have time to think about who Taskmaster was, to tell you the truth. I almost felt like Taskmaster. It almost made it look like it was artificial.
True.
That's what I was probably leaning towards. Oh, it's probably not an actual living being. It feels artificial.
Mephisto.
Like maybe.
Mephisto. It's Mephisto again.
But I feel like out of all the rumors I heard, I think I preferred that it was the daughter, because I remember some say, "Oh, it's going to be Florence Pugh's character, or it's going to be, or even like." Rachel.
I thought it was going to be Melina, to be honest with you. So like when they had that,
There was a point where I did.
Yeah, I remember the crazy one was, "Oh, it's Hawkeye." I'm like, there's no way it's Hawkeye.
No way. I'm like, guys, no. Why would it be Hawkeye? Because he used a bow? Because the character used a bow? That's the only real thing you got? No, it's weak. It does not hold water. Why would it be Hawkeye?
And it would be kind of awkward to try to start a Hawkeye TV series.
I was Taskmaster the whole time, and now
I'm good.
And I'm sorry, I won't be Taskmaster again because I have a show I have to do.
Yeah, that doesn't make any. I don't see why they thought it was him besides their bow against the tank in the trailer. I don't.
I mean, Taskmaster was supposed to, copycat a lot of people. So the bow and arrow, the shield, and
that was cool. I gotta ask because I know I'm not sure how familiar you are, Albie, with the comic book. Rose, are you okay with how Taskmaster was portrayed? Because the reason why I ask is I hear a lot of comic purists I wish it was a Taskmaster that can talk. It was kind of because isn't Taskmaster's character similar like Deadpool, where there's that trash talking? See, exactly.
So
are you okay with it, the portrayal?
I'll try to keep it short.
No, take your time.
Do you want the fanboy rant first, or do you want the comic critic rant, or do you want the movie critic rant?
I want all three, bro.
I'll keep them short then. Let's do the movie. Okay, we'll try and bridge them together.
Mute Mike while you open this real quick.
So as Taskmaster film they portrayed was perfect. One and done. Here you go. This works for our story for this movie. To address the fans, in my conversation today, my friend called me and asked about that because he knows out of the people we know that read the comics and like the MCU, or at least watch it, whether they like it or not, they watch it sometimes. He knows I'm the biggest Taskmaster fan in our group. I'm and I asked him, I said, would you agree? He's like, yeah, I agree that you're actually a Taskmaster fan. As a Taskmaster fan, I see why the fans are griping. Why was it a woman? Why didn't they speak? I get it. Trust me. To address what Pac said, yes, Taskmaster's slang is on point. There's an issue in the Deadpool and Cable crossover where him and I think it was him and Luke Cage, unless it was Deadpool and Luke Cage, they would end up saying the same thing. And I gotta find, I could be wrong, but the same type of slang. Taskmaster is an Avengers villain. I think he's underrated. You've probably seen him in Civil War. But if fans want a representation of Taskmaster that's fun, Spider-Man for PS4 that came out, right? If you want to see him in a more recent game, Marvel's The Avengers that came out. A DLC is coming out for Wakanda soon. He's in both of those. So he doesn't fit a PG-13 Disney universe. It'd be better to put him in a Deadpool movie if you want Tasky like the comics. Because his wisecracks and the way he's violent is not like Deadpool. He'll break your arm and go, yep. Okay, for instance, he taught Crossbones. Remember Crossbones from the comics, the guy that shot Captain America?
Yeah.
He taught Crossbones in one of those big tops. He got big by teaching. He's usually paid to teach other villains to be dope, to teach henchmen to become good. And Crossbones is one of his prodigies. One of his famous students. And I remember a quote I would say all the time. He beat Crossbones using stale Captain America moves. He's like, I trounced you 3 ways from Sunday using Cap's moves, old Cap moves. Come on, man, what are you doing? So, and the one thing I like about him as a fan is that he knows to avoid heroes. So let's say I'm in a camp teaching other professionals, and then Spider-Man jumps in like he did in one comic. Task is like, I'm out of here. Why? Messing with superheroes is bad for business. They bust up the school. I get no money. Why am I going to sit here and fight? That's dumb. When he got better written. So I like that. He's not a trope character. If you write him right, he's... Continue. There's more, but I don't want to take up the whole thing.
No, I mean, okay, so I can hear that, like, you understand why it was, for what it was portrayed for as Disney, you're cool with it. But you can also see why comic fans are frustrated, as you personally, though.
I wasn't frustrated. I was like, oh yeah, this is all we're gonna get. At least it brings attention to the character. But personally, I don't think Taskmaster should have been in the movie at all.
What? Really?
At all? Not.
Really?
It's either because this is the fanboy coming out again. It's either do the character right or don't use them. But as a business, that's a bad idea because you want to bring attention to your classic characters, so you have to put them in the MCU. So from a business standpoint, putting Taskmaster in was genius. From a marketing standpoint, genius. From a fanboy standpoint, no. Unless you want other people to read about the character, but I don't care about that. I'll sit and read the Udon Taskmaster version. I'll read the old comics, not care who knows about them, and sit on my little nerd hill of secret knowledge. Well, technically, Taskmaster, Tony Masters is a ex-Shield. I'll do that all day. My Simpsons comic book for Taskmaster.
Hey man, y'all gotta let that go, dude.
But it doesn't matter. Like the fact that Taskmaster was in there, I was excited, but I set my expectations low. I circumvented my own expectations.
I like, because I have no knowledge of the comic book Taskmaster, but for the character that I saw in MCU, I actually really liked it. I wish we could have seen more integrated moves copied used in battle. You know what I mean?
So the marketing worked. You agree with the team that let's give exposure to this character. Also, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, that's comic Taskmaster. If you look at his clips, if you listen to his voice, that's him. If you don't want to read the comics, just look at people play with him and look at his winning and losing quotes and his entry quotes.
I mean, I'll admit, maybe now that I've learned about Taskmaster for you, I kind of wish I saw some of that in there.
Oh, he's dope, man.
It might have been difficult, but I kind of have to think that maybe can we bring Taskmaster back? I don't know if the person that played a Taskmaster, she deliver those quips or wisecracks?
Yeah.
It could be like a Darth Vader thing where they can have somebody else dub over her voice.
Yes, or they could have someone else don the mantle.
That's what I was thinking. Taskmaster is more of it's not a mantle. It's not a actual individual. It's more like a symbol or
then it doesn't.
I think that movie left a lot open for other characters to be revisited. Hers probably also.
Look at the beard. Look at the beard. That's a good rendition. The beard's the best though.
Well, this one
still fits.
This one I think really they did a good job with his face here.
Okay, it fits.
Yeah,
I thought that a breakout scene was pretty fun to watch.
It was. That was.
The jail. Yeah.
That was cool.
It was very fun. It was kind of different from other prison break scenes because it's not like Black Widow. It's not like they were going to go in there and break him out. They said you're going to have to come out yourself, and then it was
He's a super soldier. Come on, super soldier, move your ass.
And then
he
fell. One of the best
that
lines,
was great.
"Oh, that'd be a cool way to die." When she saw
the avalanche.
The avalanche. It's set up. Yeah, it was a good what do you call it? Foreshadow.
Yeah.
I also like how she turned that the time of the month, the period joke
back on him.
I thought it was when I first heard it. It's your time of month. I'm like, oh, really? Do we have to?
And he goes, actually.
You know what happens? We have to take out the uterus.
She got into detail.
The stuff that you pretty much sent us to, when we were kids.
I didn't expect Disney to let them go that deep. Disney let them go that deep.
Yeah. That's
removing the uterus.
Yeah. Are we done yet? No, I was going to talk about fallopian tubes, and I was like,
so I'm glad Disney actually matured and let them talk about that in the film.
I'm glad Disney kind of knows its audience. We're selling toys and sure because but this is a heavier, What is he? He's holding. That's right, because
he's action figure. Red Guardian, man. They sent him in prison.
So what you were saying though about Disney getting deeper in it. Do you remember in Age of Ultron? She was like, it was really simple, but she was just like, I had my reproductive organs taken out of me. Or this one actually went into details. Like, oh man,
She did. Yeah.
Yeah, because I never thought it went like that deep. Yeah, when I heard that in Age of Ultron, I'm like, oh, did they drug her or something? Or yeah, but then in this one, it was like, oh, it was like, damn, that just shows how. Wow. But some ways that kind of brings me to what I thought so I felt like the release when this movie was not just when it was because of pandemic, not really because of, but also when it was originally supposed to be released. I thought that also kind of affected the movie because, you know, it came after Endgame. We know she dies in Endgame, so it you know, it kind of takes the surprising fact. Not only does it take the surprising factor of the movie, but it's like it's more like a why thing. I felt like we could have released this movie after Civil War.
Yeah, that would have been ideal.
It should have been released after Civil War. In fact, that would probably allow them to create a more effective ending that has more of a smooth transition into Infinity War. And then also bring more like weight to her death in Endgame, to tell you the truth. So yeah, that's what I couldn't help think about. I'm like, yeah, this is a very effective movie. I just really wish we saw this after Civil War and before Infinity War, and then that would have been fair. And I also can't help to think, and I'm pretty sure the MCU is not going to make a pattern of this anymore. But they kind of did the same thing with Captain Marvel. Because Captain Marvel also came after Infinity War, and you know, right before Endgame. It was just kind of a weird time.
For timeline purposes and continuity, yeah, it was very. But they made it work, you know.
Yeah, they made it work. I just couldn't help to think if Captain Marvel was released earlier, one, we could have given time for Ganders to develop as a character, and then it would have been much more effective in Endgame. And even give Brie Larson a chance, because I felt like maybe it was probably confusing for her because she actually filmed her stuff in Endgame first, and then she had to do Captain Marvel, and that just.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, she filmed her stuff in Endgame first, and then she did. Yeah, so that. I can imagine that being like I'd be like confused.
That seems there wasn't enough time.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
There wasn't enough time for people to care about Larson.
Yeah. Whereas people were already invested in Natasha. I think you're right. I think this would have been perfect after Civil War.
Yeah.
Because what came after Civil War was Doctor Strange, right? And then Guardian. Yeah.
And I think Homecoming came after. Yeah.
So. Yeah. And then Ragnar. Yeah, for continuity purposes, I think this should have been released before Infinity War.
Yeah, I think we'd have a much better ending. Like, you know, they would be able to. While in this case, they try to come up with an ending that was a good send out to her, even though this wasn't, you know, her final story. But they wanted to think of a way to like have a good send out for her, and it worked okay. It just felt a bit odd. Another thing I want to mention, maybe you guys, I want to know if you agree with this.
I disagree.
So let's say we still stick with the release date that it is, you know, it's after Endgame and stuff. I kind of wanted the movie to end with her grave being visited by her sister, you know, and just that. I didn't want Valentina to come in.
You think it cheapened it a little bit?
Just a little bit, because for a second I felt like, oh man, this is heavy. Okay, that's a good way to end it. Oh wait, okay, yes, all right.
Well, on her nose, yeah.
I get it. She's gonna be one of the Dark Avengers. I get it, but I thought it'd been better if she just. Actually, I kind of wanted the whole family to visit the grave too.
That would have made
That would have been an after credit scene. That would have been a proper ending. Like that'd be like a great ending. And then they could do an after credit scene where you know, Valentina shows up and he goes like, I'm here to talk to you about the Dark Avengers initiative.
So cool.
That's what they're doing, Dark Avengers?
That's the rumor.
So
yeah.
I think that would have worked. Like the ending would have been her family at the grave, and then after credits is them or her by herself revisiting the grave. So it's like, okay, we've seen this already. He's visiting her again, but then here's Valentina. That makes sense. I was really sad when it said what it said. It was like daughter, sister, Avenger. I'm like, oh man.
It was kind of interesting because you saw her driving somewhere and you were confused about it. Like, oh, where's she? What's she doing? What's she doing dressed like, Alicia Silverstone from Clueless?
I saw that. I was like, why is she dressed like Clueless?
What's she doing? And then she unmarked the grave, and I'm like, oh, this song.
It's crazy to hear like all the wild speculation before the movie came out. It's like, oh, Robert Downey filmed this scene. This last scene is going to be in Black Widow, or Chris Evans. I was like, I didn't trust any of that stuff because I remember like I knew this was
Chris Evans.
Yeah, I was hoping that I'm glad it was like the actual ending for ScarJo's character because I was hearing rumors that like they face switched her and Yelena Belova. Like that scene of Yelena getting her head cut leaked, and people were like, "Oh, it's Scarlett just wearing her sister's face."
That would have been weird.
It would have been like some DC or some M. Night Shyamalan writing right there.
And that also would cheapen her sacrifice in Endgame. Which,
right. So we're on the topic of the after credits. Do you think it's Dark Avengers? I was really hoping Thunderbolts, man.
I thought you said Gargamel. I thought you said Gargamel. Don't ask me.
No, instead of Dark Avengers, I'm hoping it's what do you call it?
Smurfs.
Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts. It might. I mean, I've
that
heard
would be better.
Dark Avengers because of U.S. Agent. So she recruited him, and I think in the comics he's more involved in the Dark Avengers. And I wonder, does it mean is she going to be in the Hawkeye?
Yes,
show?
She is. I think that's proof that you'll see her somehow in the Hawkeye TV series, which is next.
Be a good chunk of it, or she just shows up at the end or something.
I feel like hope.
Yeah, it has to be because, sorry.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I hope. I just hope she's in it a lot.
I wouldn't mind that. I mean, that show it's already stacked because you got Jeremy Renner and Haley Stanfield as Kate Bishop. So
is John Hammond there and Helms? And I heard this.
Is that Helms in it?
The Tag movie, yeah, I think it was a sequel to Tag.
I actually loved Thunderbolt Ross was in it. I wanted to see more of him. He's one of the Marvel characters I do like in the movies.
Yes. We need more continuity with the Incredible Hulk, man. I believe I'm with you on that.
Oh, Hulk. So don't get me started on how much I like the Maestro storyline. So what we're gonna do, since some viewers have asked us to, we're gonna do glossaries, we're gonna do must reads, we're gonna do some type of index eventually. I think it's a good idea. But any more Hulk references, if he becomes Red Hulk, man, I'm gonna be like, dope, about time. Let's go.
He's gonna have a mustache and everything, dude.
Is he slated to star in She-Hulk?
Yeah. He's supposed to come back too. Tim Roth.
Yeah. And Tim Roth, which I guess now we found out Tim Roth. I don't know if we're going to see Tim Roth, but Abomination is supposed to be in Shang-Chi.
Abomination is 100% in Shang-Chi, at least for a scene. So at least we know what happened to Abomination after that.
So
he got out of the rafts.
They're slowly acknowledging it. It only took 13 years, but they're slowly acknowledging that movie.
I'll say this, even though The Incredible Hulk wasn't, oh wow, that actually looks really good.
Got the eyebrows down.
Yeah. Oh, man. You got to tell me where you got that. I want to probably get that.
Here's the thing I didn't notice, because somebody said it was in this movie. I didn't see the shield in the movie. Did you guys see this?
I don't recall seeing that.
I can watch it. I've only seen it once, so I can watch it again and look at it.
Because I think he threw Taskmaster's shield. I think Taskmaster.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. I wanted to see scenes of him as Red Guardian, man. I really wish we would have seen that.
I did not see any.
It would be really cool to see like propaganda video of like the original, kind of like what you saw in like Captain America: First Avenger. And you saw all those black and white movies and stuff.
Yeah,
they should have showed something like that for like Red Guardian. That would have been like sweet.
I want more Red Guardian.
I do too.
I want more everyone in that movie. So like maybe man, without Black Widow might be hard, but it'd be nice to see like everyone.
They play well off each other, guys.
That was I felt like that was one of the best court.
Who's Black Widow's friend? Like he had like the hookup to Quinjet.
I love that guy. I love him all. I was like, I want to see more of him.
Yeah.
Because I would like to see him in every part of Marvel we can. Because
He
I
was
like
like entertaining. Yeah.
Yeah, he was
those little bit of film he had. He did great.
Yeah. So,
where he's like, oh man, sorry. Proceed, my bad.
We need more Red Guardian, and you're bringing it to us.
I'm sure they can find ways to bring them in.
So I feel like after, so I think it's safe to say I don't think we're going to see ScarJo unless it's like a flashback scene, and then I think we don't see Clint after the next Hawkeye series. So the only one left is what, Hulk and Thor of the OG.
Yeah.
So I think, kind of jumping ahead here, I think this is like this was our proper send off, I think, but I also think we're going to start to see Hawkeye and Thor in his next movie have like a send off too. I feel.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be surprised, though. I think the reason why Thor might still have more in the tank is
because he's a
took
god.
a while for the movies to like. Gain
Is he an alien or is he a god?
Yeah, I just say. I know it's a synonym to God, but I just say deity.
Yeah, because I think they're going for I think MCU. I agree with some other YouTubers that are famous that the ultimate storyline is what MCU is taking from a lot.
Oh yeah,
and then that they're aliens that were made by the Celestials a long time ago. They fell into the Norse pantheon because they are worshipped.
Oh, that's what
tribes. If I'm correct, that's what they're more like. They're another species created by the Celestials that said, "Oh, we'll just roll with the Norse thing since they keep worshiping us." Sure.
We're talking about the Asgardians.
Mm-hmm.
He might be. They might be referencing the Eternals then.
Yeah.
In fact, there has to. I wouldn't be surprised because the Eternals kind of felt out of like when they made that announcement. It did kind of feel out of left field. Like,
and Thanos was an Eternal, so
yeah.
Thane, yeah,
Thaney boy.
Did you catch when Yelena was like, "You think your space god alien needs to take an Advil after?"
Yeah.
Yeah, he said, "You think he needs to take an Advil after a fight?" I
like how she goes, "Why do you do that thing where you're like this with your hair?" And
I'm so glad they did that.
Yeah.
And then she's like, she did it at the end. She's like, "Oh."
Yeah, she said, I'm not so poser, or I'm not a poser, or disgusting, or something. Because I guess they did that because of the fan feedback and all that stuff. All the way back from Iron Man 2.
Was that like a play on, like from like a joke or something?
I think fans talked about that a lot. Why does she? Disney just pays people in forums and all that, Instagram and Twitter and all that.
Sure.
Reddit. They do. So real talk though. I don't know how we're gonna do it, but I gotta bug you guys when we get off stream. We have to make avatars in our own version of the MCU because there's not MCU. The Marvel comic universe is so much stuff I want to do. Just for fun. We can get an artist to draw it later, but I just want to do it. I want to make a character like D&D, except it's the Marvel universe. That's what I want to do, but not the Marvel role-playing game. Get me?
Yeah. Can I just be the Blob? Just add weird on me.
What?
Can I just be the Blob and just add a beard on me?
No, we can give you a mutant power, and then you try to become your own Blob. That's more fun. The story build, the character build. You know what I'm saying?
I'm pretty sure I'd like to be like some sort of deity, like Thor.
Yeah,
you can do that. So you want to make an
Thor post in the back.
You want to be a mutant. I'll be the normal average Joe, and we'll rise up the ranks through storytelling. It'll be fun. It'll be fun.
You're gonna be the merc with the mouth.
No.
That's perfect.
I'm not going to be part of Weapon 11. I can't be part of Weapon 11. Because I don't want to start. I don't want to start as a named character. I want to role play this character as either they die, I got to make a new one, or they become something cool to their own merit. I can't start off with somebody dope. It won't be the same.
I mean, I do say I want to be a deity like Thor, but
an Asgardian. Yeah, you start as Asgardian.
maybe the individual is fun, but then again, I can't help but think that most of my favorite Marvel movies has to do with the more like grounded stuff. So like Winter Soldier is like Captain America: Winter Soldier is probably one of my still my number one.
It's still my number one. Too. I think it's one or two.
So
it's so good,
man. I know because there's like 20 some movies.
Yeah.
In terms of first movie origins, where do you put Black Widow?
Oh, origins.
Yeah, like first Avenger, Captain America, Iron Man 1, Thor 1.
Honestly, if we're talking origins, I'd put it at number 3.
Really, 3?
Like if we're talking specifically origins,
like Guardians origins, Guardians 1's origin.
Ooh, Guardians, but it's okay.
Widow
maybe,
would be 5 or 6. It'd be 4 or 5.
It'd be in my top 5. If we're talking specific origins, it'd be in my top 5.
Because what are the origin movies?
Incredible Hulk,
Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, Black Widow, Captain America,
Guardians,
First Avenger, Guardians. We got 5.
Doctor Strange.
I think we talked about this before, but Black Panther doesn't count as origins.
Really?
It does not. It does not. He was already Black Panther.
He was already Black Panther, and he
was Black Panther in Old Age of Ultron.
Yeah,
his dad passed it on.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
It doesn't count.
It doesn't count.
All right.
I'm gonna piss off 3 of our viewers who are watching. Thanks for watching, guys. Okay, so Black Panther doesn't count. Captain Marvel counts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
And I don't have any. I thought Captain Marvel was an interesting take on origins because by that time I think people were tired of origins, so it tried to do some different things and.
Only because it had the 90s. That's why I give it a.
It had blockbuster.
90s, but it was also like a buddy movie with
buddy cop movie.
And I thought it was like decently effective enough.
Watch. Wait a minute, Mr. Postman.
Yeah.
I'm making fun of that, but that was a building character scene.
Yeah. But I feel like Black Widow did a lot of effective things to like explore the origins of a character we already gotten to know pretty well. But it went deeper than I thought. It brought up more interesting things than I thought about because I didn't think I was going to be that intrigued enough about it because I'm like, oh, we've heard the story a lot in like Winter Soldier and Age of Ultron. You know, we kind of felt like she practically already told us the story, but they go into depth and it was like, you know, I thought it was like very enticing. But also I like that the part of her origins is that she had like, even though it was a fake family, she had a, family to like look back to.
Mm-hmm.
I like how they were finally able to reference Budapest. It's like, all right, cool. So that's what happened.
That's what happened in Budapest.
That Budapest scene was awesome. Like, I like how when she first interacts with Florence Pugh, I like when they're fighting, they were like they were mirroring each other, like exactly. And I went like that was a well choreographed fight scene.
I like subtle scenes or subtle nods where she was like Florence Pugh's like backing up and she trips. She tripped.
She trips?
She stumbled on her steps. So for me, Origins, I'll put this at number 5 also.
Yeah.
I think it's 4 or 5 for me.
Yeah.
Because Doctor Strange was an amazing origin.
I was going to say Doctor Strange was amazing.
Man, that might be my number 1. That still might be my number 1 origin movie.
Over Iron Man? Really?
Yes. Doctor Strange over Iron Man, yeah. Because Doctor Strange drew me in emotionally more than Iron Man did.
Okay.
But Iron Man is still a classic, but I don't, as a personal choice, it's not a better origin story for me.
You appreciate the masters.
I appreciate the acting of Tom and what they pulled him into to humble him. Because he seemed more arrogant than Tony, or just as arrogant.
So for every good movies that have to do with superpowers and mystical stuff, I like how they even it out with stuff like Black Widow, Winter Soldier.
Still make it cool.
Like you said, the grounded characters.
I love the grounded characters the most. It's harder for them to pull stuff off. Yeah, it's harder. I'm a very underdog, street level comic character fan, at least for the big ones like Marvel and DC, because I want to see what they can do. Because you need more story. Because they're not going to wow you with their powers because they have next to none, or they're minimal superpowered, right? And it takes more writing to pull that off. I think it's easier to make cool characters with Superman or God level powers in my opinion.
I think for me, it's like there tends to be more good movies about the grounded characters.
Yeah.
But I would really like to see them put more effort into, like, you know, the more like mystical, powerful characters, which is why we talked about in the previous part. Why I really like Man of Steel. Like, even though he was like crazy superpower, they put a lot of effort into the struggles that
they did that he has to deal with it to fit
Thor got better when they also kind of like Thor Ragnarok. Yeah, people like oh, there's a lot of jokes in it. Yeah, but it gets pretty heavy. You know,
it does get heavy.
Like, you know, once his sister almost kills him, and he's like having doubts about it, and then his dad had to give him like a pep talk. Like, are you Thor, the god of hammers, or Thor, the god of
that was good. What do you got of house?
And also, his complicated relationship with his brother. Like, can I trust you or can I not?
That was still funny. I walk around. I'm gonna tell myself. I walk around quoting that. I started doing it more during Loki. I'm gonna show you the scene. I'm gonna act it out real quick. And action. I was falling. I've been falling for 30 minutes. Like I would want Tom Middleton to do that every day when I woke up for breakfast. Just do that scene. Here's some money. Here's a contract. Just redo that in that suit in this room 3 times a day. I will laugh forever.
Actually, I want to save this for. We'll probably talk more about this in another podcast with maybe a bigger group when Loki finishes. But to sum up Loki so far, they are, they get very. Actually, it's kind of like what I said. It's a very mystical movie, yet there are very human moments that make it, I'd say, almost as effective as the human moments in Falcon and Winter Soldier, which is is very grounded.
Oh, we're diving into some Loki right now.
I don't want to dive too much, but I figure like
she finally gets her own movie, and God forbid you got to switch topics about Loki.
No, you're right. My bad.
No, I'm kidding. I'm messing with you.
This is messing with you.
No, So here's what I'll say about Loki, and I guess we can save this for this week's the last episode, right?
Yeah.
Is it really? Okay.
Yeah.
I think I could say we'll do a podcast next week about Loki if you guys want, but I think I think we talked about this before, Albie. I'm managing my expectations about who's running the TV.
I can tell you.
It's not Kang. I don't think it's Kang.
It's not. There's no. I'm gonna say this since we're live. I'm gonna say this right now. If it's Kang, I will give both of you. If it's literally Kang and the actor's supposed to act as Kang, and Kang in one of his fortresses, I will give you guys $1 for the rest of my life, no matter how much money I get.
$1.
I'll give you $1 for the rest of my life. Every paycheck I get for the rest of my life. If it's Kang, the actor supposed to play Kang in Ant-Man, and in one of Kang's fortresses, the actual Kang, not a robot.
I'll have my lawyer send you the paperwork.
I will say that on live right now. I really don't think it's Kang.
At first, I got to get a lawyer, but but I think when it comes to theories and stuff, I think we know how to manage our expectations. I mean, we all did it with Black Widow and Taskmaster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's true.
I knew it wouldn't be Tony Masters. I'm like, it's not.
Yeah, but no. But I thought story-wise, it was effective that it was the daughter that she thought she killed.
Yeah,
it made sense.
Yeah, it made. I was like, oh, okay.
I think
what the twist.
The difference, between the way, 'cause I don't know how much of the Marvel stuff you've read in comics, Ali, but I think the difference between Roja and what I've seen other people out there who are real comic purists is that they're so stuck in their ways. It's like, it sucked. Taskmaster was terrible. It was terrible. It's like, you got to look terrible. Yeah, you got to look at it from a different perspective. And I like the way it was executed, to be honest with you.
I mean, people said about a lot of the MCU. So a lot of people complained about Civil War, but not to make comic book fans mad. I thought Captain America Civil War was actually a lot more effective than the Civil War comic.
It was more effective. Yeah, Civil War comic was great, but it was spread, and they brought Captain America back anyway. And
the Civil War comic was more epic, but let's face it, the MCU's at that time wasn't going to get the rights to a lot of those characters anyways.
No.
And then two, I thought Captain America Civil War had brought it to a more personal level. Like each side had something more personal, I'd say. So Captain America, it's his, loyalty to Bucky, someone who was his friend before he was
He
Captain
had
America.
powers before he was in the army.
Before,
All before that.
Yep. And then
Grew
Tony
up with
Stark, one part of it was guilt about Sokovia, but then at the very end, it was really driven by the death of his parents. And that made a much more epic fight scene than in the Civil War comic book.
And then, did you also there's also connections too, even with I wouldn't call them side characters, but like Clint and his relationship with Wanda, because Pietro saved him. Like then you know what I mean?
Yep, they did that very well. And also it tested the relationship between Steve Rogers and Natasha.
Yeah.
And that was, their relationship was one of my most favorite relationship in the entire movie, and it wasn't romantic at all. She was entertaining in Iron Man 2, and she kicked ass in Avengers, but it wasn't until Winter Soldier that I started to really like her character more, because they had a good chemistry that was where they knew that when things get heavy down the line, they know that they can trust each other, even though she's a spy, and and Steve Rogers is a man out of time, not sure what he's supposed to do.
Well, I think it also has to do with they've done movies together, so they've already built that chemistry with each other. You know what I mean?
True.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I'm saying this, I kind of wish Chris Evans did kind of show up in Black Widow, just a little bit. And it's not because I'm desperate for a connection to the MCU. It's because those two were legitimately great together.
It would have made the most sense if there was going to be a cameo for him to appear, especially with what happened in Infinity War.
Did you guys also find it interesting? They put a lot of they discuss a lot about that vest that you see her wearing in Infinity War. I like that. I found that and I liked how
the green vest.
I want that vest now. But I like how you're this is the first thing I bought. I got of my own free will. And then you're like, damn.
That's a big deal. Yeah. She's like, come on, you're ragging on me?
She's like, look at all the pockets.
It's all about all the pockets. Useful. You can put so much stuff in here you don't even know.
I like that humanist moment. I also like the fact that I want to know the story behind that vest. Was that a creator thing? Was that did someone actually want to put it in the movie? I want to know behind that. What made that? That's all.
And maybe when did they think about this? Because we did see that vest in Infinity War, but was that the plan all along?
Real quick, can you guys see this? Shout out to Josh. Said Ed Norton's Hulk is running the TVA.
Actually,
yeah.
I'll admit, even me, I would find that entertaining because Ed Norton's Hulk is a variant.
It's Ed Norton from Alita Battle Angel that's running with you.
Yo, so I can tell you, my guess. I'm gonna say it now. It's not Mephisto who's running the TVA, and it's not Kang. I think it's another Loki.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's another variant. It only makes sense.
I think it's a variant Loki that was like, hey, I got this snazzy new suit and cape, and I'm sitting on the throne, and you saw me in the trailer, so I'm not Kang or Mephisto. Sorry. That's what I think. I'm calling it now, live.
I'm going to say it's Taskmaster.
That's a nice model. Okay, look at that though.
I thought that was also a good design of Taskmaster. I don't know much about it, but I thought she looked pretty cool.
She does, 100%.
I think for Marvel, relating it to the real world, the design was definitely on point for me.
Yep. No cape needed.
When she put the swords in her freaking backpack, I was like, damn, it collapses inside.
That was realistic. Yeah, that was they checked out, man. That's cool.
Yeah, actually, the costuming is actually probably also one of my favorite things from that movie. There was some so they put a lot of effort into that vest.
That matters. Yeah.
The Red Guard costume was pretty awesome.
When he was stuffing himself in it, he was like, "It fits." Yeah.
And I liked how Rachel Weisz was giving him the whistle. I can't whistle, but yeah.
Yeah, I can't either right now.
Actually, I also like how they still had chemistry. Like, even though they weren't supposed to be like an actual couple, they still
Yeah, they were. What was it? They were like, they were like feeling each other up before Taskmaster came through.
Yeah. And and it was when he was like, "This might be the last time," and then she's already gone.
Yeah, she's gone. I like how at the end when they're on the ground, she's like limping, pretending she's got like an injury.
Like I said, like I really feel like the pros of this movie outweigh the cons. Like everything that was good about it was not just good; it was great. So,
what would you say one of the cons is? Because I'm trying to think of I'm looking objectively, like what would be a con?
The uneven third act. I wouldn't say it was a bad third act. There were just some it was like some of the epic fight scenes in the third act was a bit more rushed.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of ended weird because it was trying to send her off, but it wasn't the final story. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And it's pretty much when it came down to it, it was like that thing that became the after credit button. That should have been the ending without Valentina in it.
Yeah.
Like, if it ended like that, like where they visit her grave, and honestly, and just end like that, then I think I would give that movie. I would give that movie maybe right now. I give it an 8 out of 10, but I probably would have given that movie a 9 out of 10 if it ended like that.
Yeah.
And then I would give the movie 10 out of 10 if it slowed down the third act a bit. I at least like had more fight scenes in the third act.
You feeling like it was rushed because like one minute she's battling the other widows, the next. Yeah.
Like the fight scenes were rushed. The part that took the longest is that it was kind of the exposition part where they have to explain everything. So it was like her and like Dre. Yeah, so I went like, okay, I felt like I've already understood everything that's going on, so we didn't have to explain it. Let's just do more fighting, longer fight scenes would have been better. And then also maybe not only put effort into crafting those fight scenes, but craft the special effects in there too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So it's not PS4 graphics when they're like following that.
Yeah, that was it. Other than that, I felt like the rest of the movie was like fantastic.
Yeah,
like it had we said it had a great cast. Everyone had like a good rapport with each other. The fight scenes before the third act were really well. Like the one in Budapest. Like anytime they face off against Taskmaster, them breaking Red Guardian out of jail. All that was like amazing.
I would say her first interaction with Taskmaster on the bridge was pretty unique. Like when she took the box, but she already stole.
Yeah.
The Annabelle's like, that's why we like Black Widow.
Yeah, exactly. She knows she's great with the sleight of hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And trust us, folks. He's not just saying it's solid because he's got to do some like mental gymnastics because he paid $30 on Disney. It was a good movie.
Yeah.
I think my only con is I think what you said. I wish we would have seen the family interacting more as a team.
Yeah.
I wish we would have seen more of Red Guardian's backstory. Just not like you don't have to spend like a whole segment on just like maybe a 10, 15-minute thing about how he was back then.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know is that how he is in the comics? He's pretty much just Captain America for Russia, right? Is he a good guy or a bad guy?
I don't remember. I thought he was a good guy or a good guy for Russia. I didn't read a lot with him in it. I've only seen the reference. My lore on him is slack, to say the least.
Come on.
I should know more about him. I don't know enough to be like I know about him. I didn't Google anything on purpose. So.
Another pro is probably Taskmaster for me. I think Taskmaster was.
I enjoyed seeing every scene with him in it.
Hmm?
Yeah. I enjoyed seeing every picture of him in it.
Yeah.
So.
It's hard for me to nitpick because it's like it's been so long. I mean, we've had TV shows, but it's been so long since we had that Marvel movie.
True. And that's why I also think release date also like affected this movie. Maybe in a positive way, but also maybe it's either people would take anything or maybe people anticipated more when this is the first Marvel, MCU movie.
I wanted 2 after credit scenes, man. I'm mad we only got 1, to be honest.
Actually, yeah, I was.
Yeah, I waited for a second one. I was like, and
Like I said, they could have came up with 2 different after credit scenes
Easily.
and just have the tombstone,
The
cemetery,
tombstone.
and be the ending.
be its ending. Yeah.
So,
Breakout star, obviously, we talked about it before. Florence Pugh.
and the funny thing, this is the first movie I've seen her in because I know she was really good in Midsummer and she was good in Little Women, but that's the first time I saw her. So I didn't even anticipate that I was going to like her that much. I just knew, oh yeah, she's very famous. I hear she's good. She's going to be serviceable in the role. And then I got like, oh no, I was wrong. She stole almost the entire movie. Not just stole the entire movie. She stole the entire movie with an excellent cast to begin with.
Right.
Everyone was good, but she definitely was
And she didn't need a dominant amount of screen time either.
No, she didn't. And she doesn't even have any crazy superpowers. In fact, her abilities is very similar to Black Widow, yet she has her own spin on it. So that's just incredible.
Wow, that's shocking. So that's 2 Florence movies I've seen you haven't seen. I've seen Wrestling with My Family.
Oh, I want to see that. Oh God! I what's funny, before we're doing this podcast, if I had time, I'm going to watch another Florence Pugh movie, and then I saw that that's I think it's on Hulu or something. I go, oh, I've been meaning to watch that, but she's good in that. I take it. Yeah.
Rose, any takeaways before we sign off here?
It was entertaining, as I said before. It was exactly what I expected. I agree with you, Pac. I agree with you, Albert, that the opening scene, or both of you, the opening scene was the best part of the movie. From, like I said, from the yard to runway. Great. Taskmaster, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry about it.
Oh, Taskmaster, me sitting here in the background. Taskmaster was really well executed. They displayed the skill of the character, bow and arrow, skipping on the car, the effectiveness with the shield. I like the fact that they back-kicked Black Widow off of the bridge, but she kept the stuff. I like those small things they did. Choreography was good. The mimicking was good. Like the do that, land the same and stare at each other. Them watching the Avengers, the fight scene with Hawkeye and Black Panther on it, got the information. And so entertaining movie. Now, not a waste of money, even though I saw it at home.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So both of you guys saw it at home, right? You didn't see it at the theater?
I did.
I only saw it. I would have liked to see it in the theater, but planning it with other people, it just becomes really difficult. So I'm like, whatever. I'll just pay the $30 to see it at home, and I'll see it.
And you get to keep it too. So.
Yeah, I get to keep it. Who knows? Maybe since I like the movie enough, maybe if I have time, I'll see it in the theater. Just
Shang-Chi, we'll see in the theater at least.
Oh, Shang-Chi, we're doing that.
I'm sorry, Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
We're going to see it together. We're going to see it by ourselves. We're going to see it together.
I'm going to see it 5 times in theaters.
I'm just going to give it money.
Roj is going to be streaming from his phone, watching the movie live.
Yeah. we could actually, if you guys want to see it together, we can do a live before and a live after. We're like, okay, this is us together, seeing the movie. Let's go. Click. And then next we press play again. We're back. Okay, here's what we think.
Here's the after credits.
Yeah, we can do it to us walking to the theater.
Yeah.
We can do it to us getting out the theater, whatever. Yeah, I'm down. We can do it at least once.
We can even do a predict. How do you think our faces are going to look like? Are we going to have happy faces like
when we see it, or we're going to go?
Oh yeah.
Or
we're going to go what they do.
Or meh.
Yeah.
Because as you guys already know, I was reading Shang-Chi way before people gave a shit. Way before.
Yep, I'm late. I've actually recently bought some Shang-Chi comic books.
You here to show us? Nah.
And yes, Shang-Chi, he has it. I see it. Isn't that,
I was at Barnes & Noble. I bought this. It was like the only one they had, so I was like, well, I figure I'd buy this. Watch it.
I got an idea.
I have another one somewhere, but this one.
What we should do?
Yeah. Well,
we should buy Shang-Chi individual issues or graphic novels and just show them off on the podcast.
Yeah.
Building up to the film. That's what we should do. Hey, we bought these graphic novels, these single issues. Here's what you should read. like Albie just did. Pick
Well,
up
this
one.
one,
Pick up
this is
toy.
this one, Shang-Chi, brothers and sisters. I don't know much.
That's a
about
newer
it.
one, I think. I think
Maybe.
that's dope though.
It does look newer than most, but I would like.
And Shang-Chi is one of my favorite characters, not just because he literally kicks ass, but because of the different types of stories he's been in.
Yeah, street level power, bro.
Not gonna
Yeah,
open these yet,
man.
but-
Yeah,
You're not gonna
he taught
yeah.
Spider-Man at one point. The boy's nice. Like Black Panther's like, hey, I got to show you the conversation. I think I have it in my room. He's like, he told Luke Cage, I bet or I believe your friend Danny Rand is skilled, but Shang-Chi is the master of Kung Fu. Gung Fu. Gung.
I'm sorry. And I know because we're kind of wrapping up the Black Widow talk, but I'm so stoked because I'm glad we got that second trailer for Shang-Chi because I'm glad they showcased the special effects of the Ten Rings.
Right. With
I can't wait to see that in effect, though.
Yeah, it's gonna rock. I hope they don't let it suck. That's all I'm saying, guys.
Yeah. I'm paranoid. I go like, man, I'm hyping this movie like
Hyping
crazy.
it up too much.
What if it's like, gosh, like knock
A
on?
shit show?
Oh, I think I'm at particle board here.
I knock on this coaster. This is
But-
cardboard, right? On this table.
but- I probably almost hype every MCU movie, but I still try to keep my expectations like minimal as best as I can.
Chill.
I'm gonna be mad. Here's where I'll complain about. I'll tell you now. If the 101 fight scenes are garbage when it comes to choreography, I'm gonna fanboy great. I'm gonna go, wait a minute. You had one job. One job.
Yeah, it's a martial art movie, and
Yeah, if the martial arts is bad, I'm gonna throw popcorn in my face, I'm gonna put my head in the dirt and just laugh.
And
Go,
plus,
what
they
was
can't
that?
act like they can't do like good
Because Winter
fights
Soldier,
because
because
Winter
of
Soldier.
Civil War, because of they've already done one-on-one fight scenes with non-power characters and semi-power characters like Captain America and Batroc the Leaper from the show. One of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
George St. Pierre did great with martial arts non-powered. Look at the
In fact, one of my
quality
favorite
of-
fight scenes.
Yeah.
Sorry, one of my favorite fight scenes in Black Panther is when they didn't have powers. Right when he had to drink, it was like between him and Killmonger. I was like, that was like
No, an unpowered fight. That was
Unpowered.
excellent. That's still one of the best fights. One-on-one non-power fights. One-on-one non-power fights in Marvel. Still top.
Yeah. Even that Yelena Belova fight, where in the beginning when she was being under control, when she went like this with a knife, dropped it, I was like, nice.
Not
I found that
practical, but
interesting.
cool.
Yeah.
Not practical, but cool.
Really, like so. If she's got a hold of her hand with the knife. She drops it and stab.
They do it in the Batman card. It's just easier to switch. We're not getting into that, but it's cool, but not really. But it doesn't need to be practical. It's a movie, right?
Because that's what they did in Winter Soldier. Remember when Bucky and Steve were fighting? I think Buck switched.
That was cool. It was cool, but it wasn't practical. But it was really cool.
Oh, true. I feel like a lot of cool fight scenes aren't practical, but
it's cool. It was amazing. I love it, but
not every fight scene needs to be like a Bourne movie.
Correct. I'm 100%. I'm glad
Which
he
I'm
did do that.
actually not a fan of those movies. Now that I'm saying this out loud,
None of them. Not even part one.
Part one was okay. Supremacy was okay. Supremacy and Ultimatum were decent.
Unnecessary.
The one that came after the Jeremy Renner version.
Oh yeah, why?
That one was
Why
Jeremy Renner one. Wow,
that was like the blandest thing I've ever watched.
The Jeremy Renner one was better than the last one they came out with David. I was like, why is this out? This wasn't necessary.
What was the point of this? It was kind of like
it's like, here, I get to be him again. Like, why? I saw it in theater by myself, but I was like, why am I watching this?
I'm not saying Matt Damon doesn't have range.
He does.
But his general persona is kind of bland. And that's what that last Bourne movie is, bland as his general persona.
To Bravo.
Sorry. I didn't mean to go off topic to knock it. But we're talking about
another podcast.
Fight scenes.
Mr. Rob O'Dornez is saying hi. What up, Rob?
What up, man?
Mine's still in the box.
Just keep it in the box, and man, got the 10 ring.
I'm gonna take it out. I'm just waiting until I get the Shang-Chi figure itself. That one I haven't found yet.
Nowhere? It's just sold out.
Yeah, it's sold out in most places. I know I can probably buy it online, but I prefer to physically see it and have it in my hands.
We're dancing, right?
Well, if so, he's asking when does
Right.
the dancing start?
Oh, Harrison, what up, boy?
That's midnight. You have to wait for the midnight.
What up, boy?
Then we start the dancing.
After
That's the
midnight.
After Dark show, man. And what up, Harrison? Thanks for joining us, dude.
What
Also,
up, boy? Like,
you can only be 18 to watch it, so you have to take a picture of your license, send it to
Yeah.
and your social security number,
Proof of
Yeah.
and
Harrison says-
your routing number. Check routing number.
Harrison says, "What it do, boys? Nothing, man. Just talking about Black Widow. So if you haven't seen it yet, we're little spoilers.
Spoilers.
Spoilers. Yeah.
We're about to wrap it up anyway.
Yeah, we're about to wrap. We'll be back next week. I think we should do this again. We'll just do it live.
Okay.
Cue the Bill O'Reilly. We'll do a live segment.
We'll do it live.
Next week we'll go over Loki.
Are we doing a big group for Loki or a small group? What do y'all want to
We can do a big group. I can put up to 8 people in here.
Yeah,
You
let's
got
do
8 people in here?
We'll do a big
All
group because we have other individuals that we talked about the other
Yes.
Disney Plus shows. We talked about WandaVision. We talked about Falcon and Winter
Rob said, I'll
Soldier.
send you a picture.
Wait, Rob says he'll send you a picture. Harrison says, I only have my social security card. Yeah. If you want to, just type in your social right there. You'll be good. Right on.
Send it to Instagram Live.
I mean, I've known Harrison for a little bit, but I'm actually not so sure if he's actually 18. So yeah, so please.
Actually,
I mean, he did work with us at a place.
at a place.
but
We
but
can't
say it, but
We can't disclose the place.
But despite that we worked in close quarters, I'm still not sure he's 18. So yeah, we deemed all the credentials. And then the dancing starts.
Yeah, we'll do a big one on
Yeah.
What say you?
Yo, what's up with your nose talk?
Didn't we talk about? Did we talk about? I mean,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Roja
6,
did
7,
say
8.
he's more about like grounded abilities, and look what he did with his nose.
Yeah, see? Remember, I had to remove the pheromones. I couldn't.
I'd
breathe
like
it
to
in,
see
so
the
I
Man of
closed
Steel
it.
do that with his nose.
Yeah.
Probably too stiff.
Yeah. Oh, small tidbit. I like the villain in Black Widow. He did well. He was grounded. He wasn't impressed.
Oh, we talking
by her
about Ray
showing up.
Winstone?
He did
Oh,
great.
yeah, Ray Winstone. When I first saw Ray Winstone in The Departed, I'm like, yo, this dude is like...
Departed's great.
Yeah.
The punchy guy that played Draco.
Yeah, he was Frenchie in The Departed.
I don't watch those like low budget movies. But, like
Low budget. Great.
Departed was based off
Steel's always stiff.
Man of Steel. Yeah, you. Yes,
Speaking of Man of Steel, before we sign off, you want to see my Snyder Cut figures I just got?
All our first episode, Snyder Cut.
There's the Man of Steel right there. He looks.
He brought the one.
Henry.
That looks pretty solid.
But does that actually look like him? He looks like Elvis, dude.
I mean, a little bit, but I don't know. I've seen worse.
How's the detail? Whoa. All right.
Can you shine a light on it a bit? Can we get a microscope?
Testing. Okay, so yeah, we'll come back next week.
Yeah.
We'll have a bigger group this time. We'll talk
Because
about
Loki's going to be over, so.
Yeah, and Harrison's going to come next week with the King of Steel and his social security number again.
Oh, he already gave it. It was 1, 2, 3.
Here you go. In case you
4,
missed it.
5, 6, 7. There it is. So the social number is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Social security.
All right.
write that down.
My stupid ass is like, did he really write it down?
I got the pen. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, make sure you write it down. I don't think I can have that memorized very well.
6, 7. No, but too hard. Too difficult. I wrote it down.
I wasn't very good at math, guys.
See it? See, I wrote it down. Yeah. You can't see it. It's in pink ink, but it's there.
Okay, write it clear next time. We can't forget this.
All right, well,
All right.
let's
So
go.
we're taking Harrison's social security number. We're signing off.
Yes. So signing. Wait, what did he say? He said,
What's that? What's
number
that?
short? Really? Oh yeah, he is. Jesus.
So it wouldn't work anyway because it's
I wonder
It's
what
supposed to
that last number could be. 9,
Three,
maybe?
two, four.
What?
I'm gonna guess
42?
Mission accomplished. That's right, Rob. Mission accomplished. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and sign off. I'm Carson Daly. That's Albie, a fun guy. Thanks,
Fun
everyone.
guy.
For joining us. We'll be back next week. And Seacrest out.